Shortly before you became the Energy Secretary, you were quoted as saying, quote, "Somehow we have to figure out how to boost the price of gasoline to the levels in Europe," close quote. The price of gasoline in Europe, as I understand it, were about $8 a gallon, which is a lot of money. Last week in your testimony over in the House of Representatives, it's my understanding that you indicated that high gas prices are helpful in some ways in spurring research on alternative energy. I understand the point. I respectfully disagree with the conclusion, at least insofar as it's made to the exclusion of another, I think, more compelling point, which is a strong economy will always provide more capital that can be invested for research and development purposes, and research and development money is definitely needed to help develop alternative energy. So I hope you take that perspective into account. I don't think that high gasoline prices help anyone. I don't think they do anything other than hurt the American people. Look, I don't know how much driving you personally do yourself, and so you may not personally be feeling the gouge at the pump, but I assure you that hundreds of millions of hardworking Americans do feel this. They feel it every time they refuel their cars. Some a lot more than others, but all feel it. And while hardworking Americans continue to suffer because of the prices they pay at the pump and the corresponding prices that they have to pay at the grocery store and everywhere else, because all of these costs end up getting passed downstream, I hope the administration will take that into account in its energy policy and pursue an energy policy that acknowledges the fact that whether we like it or not, we as a people, we as human beings living in this country today, continue to be dependent on liquid fuels. And we have to continue to have a source of them, and that means we need to continue a robust policy of aggressive exploration and production of petroleum and natural gas. Instead, I've seen a focus on this administration that has placed most of its emphasis in this area on some failed policies, including a lot of subsidies of alternative energy projects. And on that note, the recent GAO audit of the Loan Guarantee Program found that, quote, DOE did not always follow its own process for reviewing applications and documenting its analysis and decisions, potentially increasing the taxpayer's exposure to financial risk from an applicant's default, close quote. It went on in that same report to determine that DOE, quote, also has not completely documented its analysis and decisions made during reviews, which may undermine applicants and the public's confidence in the legitimacy of its decisions, close quote. Are these accurate? Are these statements accurate in your opinion?
Well, let me first respond to your first statement, just Senator, so I can correct the record. Since I walked in the door as Secretary of Energy, I've been doing everything on powers to do what we can to reduce these, as we see these gas prices spike, to reduce those prices. And the administration, the President, and I personally, yes, we do acknowledge and feel the pain of not only American consumers but American businesses when they see these prices increase. And what we can do, all the tools available we are using, but in the Department of Energy's tool chest, the most important thing we are doing is to offload the dependency on oil, using natural gas for transportation, electrification, biofuels, all of those things. Now, regard to the
So are you saying that you no longer share the view that we need to figure out how to boost gasoline prices in America?
I no longer share that view.
You did then, but you don't now.
When I became Secretary of Energy, I represented the U.S. government, and I think that right now, in this economic, very slow but return, that we need to have these prices could well affect the comeback of our economy, and we're very worried about that. And so, of course, we don't want the price of gasoline to go up. We want it to go down. But let me go to the GAO report. The other part of the GAO report, within a few sentences of that, said explicitly that the diligence that we did in our loan program was actually considerably more thorough than what the private sector did. The thing you're referring to, and I admit there is some truth in that, is that we had, at the beginning of this loan program, which started in 2007, well, EPAC 2005, but in seriousness, about 2007, a lot of the input was in paper form. A lot of the input was such that it was, you know, we are moving towards making those records electronic so that you can have a more modern data system. This is not only true of our loan program, quite frankly, it's true throughout the Department of Energy. As a kind of a techno-geeky guy, I actually like the idea that we have electronic records rather than paper records, and I'm encouraging the department to make this transition, and we are doing it in the loan program.
And you think that will bring about more compliance with the department's own processes?
Well, I believe the GAO report said that because the records are here and there and not in a central repository, that it would be harder for the loan program overall to see what's going on. And so as part of this risk management, going forward, we recognize that we need central repositories of data so that you can get instant access, and we recognize that.